Boys and girls, Alex back again. Yes, with another puzzle, you could say. This is something I actually designed myself, and I call it the Japanese maze box puzzle. Not that I was inspired by anything from Japan, other than the fact that I plucked a few of these clip arts off the internet, which basically centered around Japanese drawings or stuff like that, and I basically engraved them, wood filled them, and I thought they looked quite cute. Now I initially made this box with no intention of videoing it or making a video of it. However, I suppose I liked it enough that I thought, damn it, I'll make another one and document how I made it. Now this is the second one that I made. Again, predominantly Japanese. Well, hang on, can we see it in the viewfinder? Yep. Japanese clip art. It's the blank spots there are deliberate. That is the way it was meant to look. That same thing with that. I actually find it a little bit more arty by that. But anyway, geisha up the top, which will prompt me to make another video about wood filling, but that's another story. What I did initially is I got onto SketchUp and designed this maze pattern, and that was basically it. Then I worked out if I move this little pin, oh by the way, the maze pattern is mirrored on the other side, so that these locator pins there will travel down both sides. I basically worked it out on SketchUp of if I bring it over to the extreme left, how much room do I need on that side to fit this thing under it, and also the same if I took it over to the extreme right, how much room do I need? Anyway, I worked it out on SketchUp, came up with this design, and that's it. So maybe I'll probably follow this up with just a quick brief note in the SketchUp diagram, and thereafter I shall either show the solution of this box at the end of this video or another video. Look, it's not a complex box. You can make it a little bit more complex. It's more like a little fun thing and a cute little thing, and it has got a receptacle in there that you can put stuff in. So there you have it. This is the second box I made, only because I didn't take videos of the build of the first one. I'm going to show you this one. So what follows will be the actual building of this. This one has been buffed. I think at the end I show the buffing, but the oiling, but I don't show the buffing. It has been buffed. I'm not going to waste time show you how I buff it. I've done that before in many videos. It's just a matter of taking it through the Beal system of Triple E, White Diamond, Canubra wax, polishing it on 8-inch buffers mounted on a slow speed grinder. So that's the box. Everything the same except for the imagery. This one has been oiled, the other one hasn't been. And that's it. The first step off the laser is to fill the engraving with body filler. I use ebony Timbermate, just applied with this spatula, nothing starting. I've already done it with these. Just smear it out. The only thing is you have to take care that some of the, in between the engravings, there are parts that didn't get engraved, so you've got to take care that you don't actually break those little pieces off. So the idea is to actually pat down and then pull across. Once you've had the first layer on and you sand it, the body filler in there will give support to all those fiddly little bits, so we don't have to worry too much about it. So this is now half dry, but I'll put it aside to let it fully dry, and I'll probably go ahead and start sanding it tomorrow morning. But while we're there, that's drying, the next step is to remove the maize out of the bit that's been already cut. Now, basically it's a matter of just mucking around, making sure you get the maize out. You know, nothing magical about it. It's just that you've got to bear in mind the way the maize is cut. There are weak spots in there, as you can see it flexes. You've got to make sure it doesn't. That's why I've got these alignment dowels, because I have got, if I can find it, a backing plate that will be doweled on there. Not as much for alignment as much as just to give it stability. So we've got that. That unfortunately looks cute but can be thrown away. Naturally you need to poke out the, I've got something to poke out the, with the little dowel alignment holes. There and there. And again, move this aside. Unfortunately, this might look easy. I've already separated and put it together for the sake of the exercise. While the laser cuts, this is so close together, it's hard to pull apart without breaking it. Touch wood, I haven't. Anyway, as I said, all that gets thrown away somewhere. No, I haven't got a rubbish bin, or I have, but everything's sitting on top of it. So that becomes rubbish, and the next step will be to get dowels in there. I have got a heap of off-cut dowels that I keep just for these occasions, for the small parts. It's really a case of I'll need 8 of these 4mm dowels. I'll only worry about one. The next thing to do is, got half my workshops up here in my office now. Just a quick sand, so it'll go together easy. Then once that's done, just a case of again, I'll put some greaseproof paper on it. The dowel goes in there, although that one looks a bit loose. I'd much rather get a dowel that's fairly tight. Unfortunately, the dowels you get are never exactly 4mm. Well, some are, some aren't. Some are 3.8, some are 4.2. And actually I'm probably looking for a 4.2. So it'll be tight in that 4mm hole, just to give it more support, because if I overdo the CA glue, it'll lose out everywhere. And there, that's a, no, it's not, that's not a better fit either. Oh yeah, that's a better hole there. But anyway, I'll play around with the offcuts until I get them. That's it, and I'll get back to you with the next part of it. down in the dungeon, do some quick sanding on these wood-filled items. I'm going to slap 180 grit on here only because I want to sand it fairly aggressively, or more aggressively, to get all these overfilled filler off before I recoat it. That's it. I don't want to get too much off, only because I've got to sand it again anyway, with the 240, and if I take all that black off, that's going to allow more black to leach into it, which means might go down another 0.1 or 0.2 more of a mil, which endangers the blowout. And it's actually quite incredible how before I body filled it, it actually looked quite just a black mass. Well, when I say black mass, just on the engraving alone it looked like a black mass, but on here it looks quite presentable. I'll do another one just to, that's the geisha. The whole idea is to get rid of all these high ridges, so I've got a flat surface to work against. When I run my finger against it, I can feel all these hollows. And one of the things you have to be careful of is that, as I say, I normally only do 2 coats, but sometimes a bubble might have formed under it, and once you get to the second coat and you sand through it, you might actually sand down to where no body filler hit it, so then you've got to give it another 3rd coat. Anyway, look, I'll go through all of them with this, but before I do, no, look, I'll come back to that. There you have it. I've got them all sanded. Now the next option is applying the second coat. Again, here we are with the black ebony wood filler. I only use a small spatula, however I often resort to a bigger one so I can then flatten it out. But look, it's just a simple case of going over the lot again. You can see how some parts have been filled and some haven't as you drag it across. But by doing this, you finish up filling in the bits. The second coat will fill in the bits that you have missed. Try and keep it away from that guide hole. Right, that's done. Now usually I might give this a quick once over just to make sure.
Lounge TV doesn't support that.
I know, I'm not bloody up there. To keep it flat, and that's basically it. Now again, that's I've got to wait for that to dry, and then the second sanding. Anyway, I'm going to fill these in and then come back. Once the second coat is on, it actually doesn't take long to dry. In fact, if you have a look at some of the earlier ones I did, and that's only a few minutes ago. You can see the grey where it's drying. The thing to remember is make sure you clean your spatula, because once it dries out, bloody wood feels a bugger to get off. Oh, you can wash it, but usually when I wash my spatulas, I forget to dry them properly. That's why you can see all these rust impregnations on it. Okay, I've done that. Let's move that aside. Then it's a matter of just giving these other bits a quick clean up, just to get rid of the char marks. These are all the other 3mm ones, and you know, look, there's nothing magical about it. You might notice the char marks. If you don't, well, I do. So bring that across. Again, it's just a very, hang on though, I will now replace it with 240, only because I don't want anything aggressive anymore. This is just a quick carburetor. As that, you just get rid of the char marks and get rid of the fuzziness on the MDF that's brought up some fuzziness out of the moisture or humidity. Okay, look, I won't, I've only got 2 more, but I won't waste your time. You might be able to hear the compressor chugging about in the background. Anyway, the next bit is to cut these little bits of dowel off, get out my gap saw from my MDF cut thing, and just a case of cutting it off. I'm taking a bit of care to make sure I don't cut into the surface, because it is quite sharp, and if you're not careful it'll actually cut into the surface quite easily, and because of the sharpness you don't even know it until you have a look later on. Anyway, that's it. Then the other one, and then I'll get back to you. For this next pieces, I'm going to actually swap out my Abranet sandpaper. Oops. Switch this off. Swap out the Abranet only because on sharp edges, if you catch them, you will snag the Abranet, and this one was snagged sanding this. So I'm going to load it up with this standard, the old-fashioned type of sandpaper, just for this particular job. See why I turn that compressor on. Oh, come on. Oh, damn it. Lock. Thank you. So I can then clear clear away all the sawdust that didn't get sucked up. And oh look, I'll give these a quick blow. But anyway, I'm going to wait till this dries, then a quick sand again, and we'll see where we go from there. It's been about an hour and a half, and I think this has dried enough. Loaded with 240. This time I go to the level of making sure that all the black around the edges are cleaned up. I then run my finger over it to make sure it's smooth. And there you have it. That's about as clean, as good as it'll get. I'll do one more, this is the other one. As you can see, I've had to get a bit aggressive on some of the edges because if that wood filler is a bit sloppy, it does tend to leach into the MDF. So you've got to go down, sand it quite vigorously, and that's why I go for that optimum 2-pass laser cut to give it sufficient depth. So if I keep sanding, I don't actually bottom out on these black parts and start bringing in the raw MDF again. So and pop out the dial alignment hole, and to me that's quite a neat little silhouette. Again, I won't bother with the others, but I'll show you what they look like after I've finished sanding. With some of these, especially these two, I had to get quite aggressive because a lot of the stain soaked into the MDF, and if I continued to, with the 240 grit, I tended to put pressure on it down on an edge, which meant that I could potentially break through. So I went up to 180 so I could cut it a little bit more aggressively, yet keep it relatively flat, even pressure. And then naturally I had to follow it up with 240 to get rid of the 180 grit. But again, these are, I haven't actually blown through. This is actually the silhouette of the clip art. A lot of these outside features were light grey, which naturally didn't translate to black and white, but I think you get sufficient imagery or black to let you know. These are going to be the sides. The front and the back, or the main ones, are these, which are naturally the more greater action figure. And this one with the geisha, that's going to be on top of the lid. So it's up to the office now to catch up on a bit of internet comments and glue up. And that's it. So I'll hopefully follow on from there.